You guys ready? This is an exciting barbecue video today. We are going to do the classic, tried and true, Texas style, long duration smoked brisket. So buckle up. When I first got into smoking meats, the beef brisket was without a doubt one of both my most favorite items to cook as well as eat. And it is a little bit more challenging than a lot of the other cuts of meat, like a pork shoulder or ribs even, but this one has a great payoff, and there is nothing like a smoked for like 12 plus hours whole beef brisket. Before I bust the meat out, what we're doing today is I have an 18-pound USDA prime brisket from Costco, 60 bucks for 18 pounds of prime beef. Can't beat that. I'm gonna get it out here in a second. Before we go through everything, we're gonna go through trimming the brisket, seasoning the brisket, smoking the brisket, spritzing the brisket. We're gonna go through it all today. Before I get that out, I wanna talk a little bit about the cook itself. So kind of like a pork shoulder, you're taking this meat to a set temperature and then you're wrapping it, and then you're taking this meat to another temperature and it's done. Now, unlike a pork shoulder, brisket takes a lot longer, and there's a couple different ways you can do a brisket. So how I generally do a brisket is I do an overnight, what they call a weekday brisket. Just due to scheduling, it's easier to do that. So it is almost 10:30 at night. I'm gonna get this brisket on at 1 a.m. and we're gonna go all night into tomorrow. So first, you can do a very, very long duration brisket smoke at like 200, 225 degrees. The prototypical brisket is smoked at about 275 degrees for 10 to 12 hours. That's like prototypical backwood, backyard brisket smoke, 10 to 12 hours at 275 the whole time. You can also do a hot and fast brisket, which I've never done. If you check out Harry Sue, he's got some videos on that, but you can do a brisket in like 4 hours. It won't be as tender, but it'll still be good. Today, because of the timing, we're gonna do a long duration smoke. The last brisket I did was a 17-hour smoke. We're not gonna go 17 hours, but we'll probably go in the 13, 14, 15 hour time frame. So the way that I do this brisket is we're gonna get the brisket out, we're gonna trim it, we're gonna season it. I'm gonna get it on the smoker at probably about 190 degrees, probably by 12:30 or 1 a.m. Go to bed, get up, start spritzing the brisket. I'll probably turn the temperature up to 275 when I get up, and then wrap the brisket when it gets to 160, and then pull it when it gets to about 203 degrees. So that's kind of the flow here. So a really long duration, low temperature smoke for probably about 8 to 9 hours, and then crank up the heat for the last like 6 hours. So check this bad boy out right here. So this is the real deal. This is an 18-pound USDA prime full beef Packer style brisket, I think is what they call it. My mom picked this up at Costco. Pretty solid to get these at Costco. I mean, you're looking at like, I think $3 a pound for this. So 18 pound, I think it was like 60 bucks for 18 pounds of meat. So I'm gonna do this kind of like Texas style, if you will. That's kind of my favorite genre of barbecue. Got my buffalo trays. Okay, let's talk about the trim. So I do this kind of like a backyard style. So what that means is I don't really trim that much off of it. I'm gonna take off this fat right here, some of this fat here, and some fat on the other side. And then I might like hit a little of this. But you can see because it's prime, there's like nice striations in the meat with a lot of fat. So that's really good. This is gonna be really good. I'm gonna start, and I do, one hand like this, one hand, one clean, one dirty hand. So I'm gonna start with this fat right here. So just gonna take, because this stuff is, it's hard fat, so it's not gonna render when you cook. So you don't really want it in there, and take a little meat usually. So that, and then probably just Just kind of like, and you know what? Take a little bit more of it out. Most people don't, some people do, most people don't like to eat this. So I'll leave a little bit of it in, just, you know, cut that out. And then on this side, so you can see that right there. So this like gray brown fat, that's coming out. And if you wanted to, you could save this stuff as filler in sausage. I'm not there yet. So this is good. This is really good. This is a nice, and I'll clean that up. This is a really nice piece of meat. So see how this, I got a nice, yeah, that's what I want. Nice square edge there. And then I kind of, this is the second prime brisket I've done from Costco. I kind of, I try and err on the side of cut off too little, you know, because, you know, once it's off, it's off. And probably get rid of this flap, because that's kind of annoying. All right, so that's all I'm doing on that side. You know, I'll leave that. That's good. See how hard that is? Yeah, maybe I'll take out a little bit more. There we go. Okay. Just do some cleaning up. And yeah, that's good. Here is the fat up side, obviously. And all I'm gonna do here is definitely like take this off. I'm trying to just barely graze the top. There we go. Yeah, I like to keep obviously a lot of this fat on. And actually, so you can't see it on the other side here. There is, yeah, it's tough to see. There's a pad of fat I'm gonna cut off. So the brisket it's actually two muscles. So the brisket is it's like the pec muscle of the cow. So and obviously cows, you know, they live on four legs, so their pecs are like pretty tough, pretty very fibrous muscles. So that's why you gotta cook this so long, because you gotta like tenderize all of that like connective tissue and stuff. So I'm just cutting out a little bit this fat here, then I'm calling it a day. Now it's time to season this bad boy. So, God, it's so heavy. I'm gonna actually flip back to the meat up side. We'll start there. So this is pretty simple. I just do a binder of Worcestershire, and then I got freaking Harry Sue, man. I got his all-purpose rub. If you don't know who Harry Sue is, check him out. He has a lot of really good, I mean, he's like a professional pitmaster barbecue guy, and he knows his stuff. So layer with Worcestershire, and then I'll pat this into the meat, and then I'll do 20 minutes this side, 30 minutes, flip it over, repeat on the other side. And then I will put this on the smoker fat side up. So I'll season this side, let it sit, flip it over, season the other side, and then from there put it on the Traeger. So let's do this. So just put on the Worcestershire, and you know, basically all this is doing is this is helping the seasoning, you know, bind. That's what they call it, a binder. Stay on the meat. So get that going, and then I mean, to get like, you know, a really good bark, you're gonna want to put on a decent amount of rub. So I'll be pretty, you know, pretty generous with it, and then tap it in. And like I'm gonna use, you know, that's one thing I didn't realize when you do this stuff, you're gonna use so much rub. Especially on I mean, I'm gonna use half this bottle at least. Oh, it smells good. His brand is called Slap Yo Daddy, and They make really good stuff, so check that out. And then for the sides, I just kind of like tap it in. You know, it's not gonna penetrate the fat so much, but definitely on this top meat. There we go. All right, there we go. Got a nice layer here. I'll touch this up. I'll touch up this side when I flip it over. So I'm gonna let that sit for 20 minutes, 20-25 minutes, and then I'll flip it over and we'll do the same thing with the fat side. So I've used this rub before. I used it on a pork butt, and it turned out really good. So I generally like, ooh, that was a lot. I like a pretty flavorful rub, and this has a lot. And it's got flakes of something in it. I think it's like oregano. So, and I'm pretty liberal with this, as you can see. So I'm gonna finish this up. There's a few spots I have left to get. And then I'm gonna let this sit, and then we're gonna get it on the Traeger, and then I'll meet you all back there. We're gonna get it on, put her to sleep, put a couple probes in it. I'll talk about where. And then we just let it ride all night. All right, so I know it's dark, you can't really see. I could do a better shot in the morning, but we're on. So I put 2 probes in. I put 1 probe in the point, 1 probe in the flat, and then I've got my monitoring thing there. You can see. Yep. So obviously the point is cooler than the flat, and then I've got a probe that's just doing the internal temp in the chamber. So 12:45 at night, time to put her to sleep. Good morning. Oh, beautiful. All right, so it is about 11 a.m. What, 10 hours, 9 hours since I started, and you know, the flat's at 160, the point's at 153, and I turned the Traeger up to 225, and this is how we're looking. So it looks beautiful. It's starting to sweat right there. I'm going to wrap it up, spritz it, and then I'll show you guys how it looks. So here's what the Inkbird app looks like. So this is kind of how I monitor what's going on at the grill. So top is the internal temperature of the grill. So I have it set to 250 now because I'm trying to have this thing not done too soon, because I want to get it done and then ready for my mom to pick up. So I think the total smoke time will be about 14 hours. Anyway, top is the inside of the Traeger, and then you've got the point and the flat right now. So this is pretty common for the point to lag behind the flat. It's a lot thicker piece of meat. They will catch up to each other. It's kind of weird, but they will catch up to each other. So we're cruising now. This thing has been on the Traeger for about 12.5 hours total now. And we're cruising at 250. I'm gonna bump it up to 275 here in a second because I want this thing done in about 2 hours, so it can rest for an hour or two. But yeah, I love this app. And what I've done before is you can set alarms for these, so I can have it alarm me and notify me when the temp is like at 202, 203. All right, status update. It is about 3:30, so about 15 hours into the smoke, and I'll show you right now. So I just pulled the flat probe out and put it back in so it cooled down. This was reading about 202, 203, and then 205 for the point, and then the chamber I have to 250, so holding there. So temp wise, I'm gonna let this go probably another 5, 10, 15 minutes. And then what I do is I've got one of those like classic Coleman coolers, and I will let it rest in there for a couple hours. Now, how you know this brisket's done is a couple reasons, a couple ways. One, temp, but 2, the meat should be probe tender. So I'll show you what that means here in a second. So what that means is this temperature probe should slide in, you know, with almost no resistance. So you can see it's going in just like that, which is perfect. Basically you want the temperature probe to go in like a knife going through room temp butter, like no resistance at all. So you can see, you know, just goes in just perfectly. And yeah, so I'm just gonna let this go another maybe 5 minutes or so, and then we'll pull it off. All right, so we're off. We're in the cooler. You can see, oh, it smells so good. Nice bark there. I let the steam come out of the foil before I close it in the cooler for a few minutes, And then I like to let this rest for at least 1 to 2 hours. That really helps this meat suck back in the juices. So we're gonna let this sit for 1 to 2 hours and then cut into it and show you the gorgeous results. 14 hours later, my barbecue partner, my mom, is filming right now. This is done, so I'm gonna just cut into it. I don't know how we wanna, oh, look at that. See, you know it's done when you get a good jiggle. So I'm gonna just cut through it right now. Oh man, that's a really good done brisket. And then the other side, so this is the point muscle right here and the flat muscle down here, and you can see if I squeeze it, all that fat coming out of there. That's how you know it's done. Okay, that's it. The brisket's done. Go 50-50 with your mom. She buys the meat and you smoke it for her. Now we gotta figure out how to split this up.
Yeah.